Now, here is Walt Disney.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner.
Hello and welcome to Soarin over California.
In 1991, Disney announced plans to build their most ambitious theme park to date. The park would be called Westcott and would be built on the site of Disneyland's then existing parking lot. Themed around the utopian vision of the future, very similar to that of Epcot's in Walt Disney World, this beautifully crafted concept would also be the very first Disney park to feature a hotel within the park itself. Despite the excitement surrounding Disney's latest project, many issues arose out of the gate and ultimately led to the project's cancellation. It turned out Disney would have needed to acquire a significant amount of land and relocated thousands of residents to make the park a reality. Not only that, but concerns also grew about the park's light pollution at night, as well as many claiming the new incarnation of Spaceship Earth could potentially be an eyesore. With the park's potential price tag being estimated in the area of $3 billion, and the recent financial problems stemming from the opening of Euro Disney, the project was officially canned in 1995. While attending a 3-day executive retreat in Aspen, Colorado, to come up with another concept for a second gate at Disneyland, Michael Eisner and roughly 30 other executives finally agreed upon an idea for a California-themed amusement park. The project became what we know today as Disney's California Adventure. It opened its gates on February 8, 2001 to lower than expected attendance rates and very little interest. With opening day attractions such as Golden Dreams, a nostalgic film about California's history, narrated by Whoopi Goldberg, Muppet Vision 3D, a clone of the attraction by the same name already located in Disney's Hollywood Studios, California Screamin', a modern steel coaster themed to look like a classic boardwalk-style wooden coaster, and of course, let's not forget, but actually let's try to forget, the short-lived flop that was Superstar Limo, arguably Disney's worst attraction of all time. A dock ride that took you through cheesy caricatures of famous celebrities. I know, it's terrible, but there was one attraction, however, that stood out above all the rest. A diamond in the rough, if you will. And that attraction was Soarin' over California. Originally going to be called Ultra Flight, Soarin' over California took guests on a simulated ride over various sites in California, while giving the sensation of hang gliding. This effect was achieved when Disney Imagineer Mark Sumner designed a ride system in his attic using an old erector set and some string. The result? A state-of-the-art ride system that lifted guests with an inverted track over an OmniMax screen. The attraction would have 3 load levels and operate much like a dry cleaner's rack using a horizontal cable. The ride was a hit with guests right out of the gate, and soon after Epcot got its own version of the ride, once again attracting big crowds. The ride was roughly 4 minutes and 51 seconds long and featured an amazing score by Jerry Goldsmith, along with locations such as the Golden Gate Bridge, Napa Valley, Malibu Beach, and many more, along with various scents to accompany the respective scenes. The ride was practically perfect. What more could we ask for? At the D23 convention in 2015, Disney announced Soarin' would be getting a new film to be titled Soarin' Around the World. The new incarnation would break the confines of California and take guests to new landmarks from all over the globe. There was no way this couldn't be better, right? Well, let's take a look. When Soarin' Around the World debuted in 2016, there were definitely lots of people who felt the new version was inferior to the original in many ways. For one, Soarin' Around the World lacked the natural simplicity that gave Soarin' over California its charm. it captured California for all its natural beauty. It embraced everything the Earth had to offer and how we as humans interact with our natural environments. It didn't try to amaze us with smash cuts and CGI. It simply embraced beauty wherever it could be found in the natural world. The new version's shortcomings were also evident in its attempt to create another set of memorable scents. Soarin' over California offered smells of the salty ocean air, evergreen forests, and of course, who could forget the orange groves? Whereas Soarin' Around the World presented more subtle and forgettable scents in my opinion, and it seemed like little effort was even put into them. Another obvious change that was inferior to the old version in my opinion was the way Imagineers went about the transitions in the new version. Rather than using smooth scene-to-scene transitions, they elected to go with a more hard-hitting smash style of transition, with either an animal or some type of object or prop flying up at you to take you to the next scene. This wasn't the worst thing in my opinion, but I definitely consider the original versions to be the better of the two. As far as the music is concerned for these attractions, Jerry Goldsmith's original soundtrack was second to none, and anyone given the task to try to duplicate it was basically doomed for failure. Don't get me wrong, Bruce Broughton's soundtrack for Soarin' Around the World is absolutely brilliant, but just isn't quite as memorable as Goldsmith's. This I think is no one's fault really, and shouldn't be held against the new version too much. I feel it was all a matter of which one came first, and in this case, it was Goldsmith's. So it really wasn't even a fair fight from the start. Lastly, and what I think is the biggest problem with the new version, is the obvious overuse of CGI. Like I said earlier, the natural environments they were able to capture in the California version were beautiful and charming, and most importantly, natural. Soarin' over the world can sometimes feel a bit forced, as if the filmmakers were desperate to capture a beautiful moment. I also feel the CGI simply goes against the entire premise of the attraction to begin with. If I wanted to experience a fake simulated world, I could simply go over to Animal Kingdom and ride Flight of Passage. Granted, not everything in the film is fake, but there is definitely enough to make it seem out of place. I feel the filmmakers should have went out and captured whatever was available to them to make this ride more natural, or perhaps exercise a little more patience to get the appropriate shots. It just kind of makes me wonder if they rushed this project to have it ready in time for the opening of Shanghai Disney. But whatever the reason might be, Soarin' Around the World seemed to be at first a great concept. I mean, who didn't like the idea of expanding upon California and getting out into the entire world? Unfortunately though, this wasn't the case, and it fell short in almost every category, at least for me and a lot of other Disney fans. Perhaps one day Disney will hear the complaints and do something to fix what I consider to be a big problem. But until then, we'll get in line and pray we get the right seat so we don't have to experience that god-awful curved Eiffel Tower. What version of the ride do you think is better? Let us know in the comment section below, or hit us up on Twitter at thebacksideofw1, or give us an email at thebacksideofwater@icloud.com. This was Tim, and this was a quick Diz Take.